I still can't get over how Genesis 1 and 2 paint such a serene picture, everything in perfect harmony, paradise on earth. But honestly, you just know that kind of peace can't last forever in any good story.
It's almost like the universe set up the ultimate calm before the storm. Whenever you read about Adam and Eve just chilling in the garden, I always find myself holding my breath, waiting for that twist.
Exactly. It's like when you see a character in a horror movie go, wow, it's so quiet tonight, and you just know chaos is coming. Eden's that moment right before everything flips upside down.
And what a flip it is. But before we get to the drama, I think it's wild how this garden is supposed to be a symbol of ultimate trust and provision. One simple rule to keep all that peace intact, and, well, we all know what's coming next.
So let's talk about the tree, because it's way more than just a forbidden snack. The name alone, Tree of the Knowledge of Good and Evil, is like a giant neon sign, right?
Totally. It's not just a regular apple tree in someone's backyard. In ancient Hebrew, good and evil pretty much means everything, like all the shades between black and white. This tree isn't hiding recipes. It's hiding the whole concept of understanding life.
That's huge. It's like offering someone the keys to the universe, but also warning them those keys come with some seriously heavy baggage.
Heavy baggage is right. And honestly, it sets up this coming-of-age challenge. Stay innocent, or take the plunge into real knowledge, with all its messiness.
Now, here comes the serpent, cue the dramatic music. But here's the thing, we always hear it's Satan in disguise, but that's not actually in the original text.
That always trips people up. The Hebrew just calls it the craftiest animal, not some cosmic evil mastermind. In other ancient stories, serpents could mean wisdom, unpredictability, sometimes even renewal, not just evil.
So it's less about a sneaky snake trying to ruin everything, and more about a symbol maybe of challenge or the temptation that pushes you to question things.
Exactly. Like that little rebellious voice in your head that goes, but why not? It's much more nuanced than we give it credit for.
What cracks me up is the serpent doesn't even outright lie, at least not at first. It just twists the rule. Did God really say you can't eat from any tree?
That's textbook manipulation, isn't it? Make the boundary sound ridiculous, so you start doubting it. Eve actually corrects the serpent, but you can almost sense the gears turning in her head.
It's like when someone says, you're never allowed to have fun just because you turned down one party invite. Exaggerate, then plant the seed of doubt.
And it works. The serpent barely has to push. Sometimes all it takes is a question to make you reevaluate everything you thought you knew.
Here comes the twist, the serpent says. You won't die. Your eyes will be opened. And plot twist, that's exactly what happens.
That part still gets me. The serpent doesn't just make empty promises, they really do gain this deeper awareness. It's like the moment you suddenly realize something about the world you can't ever unsee.
It's almost like a loss of innocence. Once you know, you can't go back to ignorance. The story gets so much more interesting when you realize the serpent's temptation is about starting the messy process of growing up. So Adam and Eve are left with this massive choice: stay in safe, innocent dependence, or reach out and grab that knowledge for themselves. That tension is so relatable.
It's basically the ultimate coming-of-age moment. Like, do you follow the rules because you trust the wisdom behind them? Or do you decide it's time to make your own calls, for better or worse?
Exactly. And even now, isn't that what adulthood is? Trading the comfort of childhood for the messy freedom of making your own choices, with all the risks attached.
And sometimes, you don't even know you're making that trade until it's too late. That's the brutal beauty of this story.
As soon as they eat, the text says their eyes are opened and they realize they're naked. It's not about the clothes, is it?
Definitely not. That's a metaphor if I've ever heard one. Suddenly, they're aware of their vulnerability and their flaws. It's like being a kid who suddenly feels embarrassed for the first time. There's no going back.
And the first instinct is to hide. I think everyone can relate to that when you do something you know will change how people see you, and you just want to disappear.
It's superhuman. Shame and self-consciousness are part of stepping into that new awareness, whether we're talking Eden or middle school.
Then comes the classic blame game. Adam points to Eve, Eve points to the serpent. No one's owning up to anything.
It's almost like the world's first group project gone wrong. Everyone's pointing fingers, hoping not to get called out. It's funny, but also painfully real.
And that right there is the heart of the fall. It's not just about breaking a rule, but about the breakdown of trust and relationship, both with each other and with God.
Exactly. And once that trust is gone, everything gets more complicated. It's like trying to fix a shattered window with tape.
People always talk about God handing out punishments here, but the way it's written, it feels more like natural consequences of a choice.
I've always thought of it like blowing up your own bridge. You're not being punished so much as living with the reality you created. Life outside the garden just gets a whole lot harder.
Right, suddenly there's work, pain, and distance from nature, from each other, and from God. It's not so much a curse as the cost of awareness and independence.
And honestly, that's way more relatable than a list of arbitrary punishments. We all know what it's like to live with the fallout of our choices.
So when Adam and Eve are sent out of the garden, it's not just about losing their favorite hangout spot. It's this profound shift from protected innocence to real, unpredictable life.
That move out of Eden is basically the original welcome to adulthood moment. Suddenly, nothing is handed to you and everything feels a bit colder.
That loss of harmony, nature, fighting back, relationships getting messy, it all tracks with what real life feels like, especially after a big transition.
And in a weird way, it's kind of comforting. We're not alone in feeling like life can be a struggle. The story says, yeah, this is normal. We've all been there since the beginning.
What strikes me is how this story isn't just ancient history, it's about the human condition. Growing up, making tough choices, and dealing with the fallout.
That's why it sticks with us, I think. It's not just a morality tale, it's our story. Wanting to be our own authority, messing up, then having to live with it that's universal.
And the sin here isn't the fruit. It's the desire to take control, to be the source of your own rules. That's a struggle we all know, even if our forbidden fruit is just a Netflix binge at 2 a.m.
Honestly, the struggle is timeless. The real challenge is learning to navigate that new reality with all its joys and heartbreaks.
One thing that fascinates me is how the effects of that one choice just spiral out like dropping a pebble in a pond and watching the waves reach the edge.
It's wild, right? The story shows how a single moment of reaching for knowledge leads to generations of new struggles, work, pain, fractured relationships. Nothing stays in a bubble.
That actually reminds me of how one decision can change the course of a whole family or even a whole society. That's the power and the burden of being able to choose.
And the ripple keeps going. Genesis doesn't just stop the story there. It sets the stage for everything that comes next, good, bad, and messy.
Even after exile, the story doesn't slam the door shut. There's a sense that life goes on, and there's growth to be had outside the garden.
That's my favorite part. It's honest about how hard things get, but there's this undercurrent of hope like, yes, innocence is gone, but there's still a future to build. You pick up the pieces and keep moving.
And next time, we get into the world's first family drama, Cain and Abel. If you thought sibling rivalry was bad at your house, just wait.
Oh, we're about to get into jealousy, violence, and believe it or not, why those endless genealogy lists tell us way more than we think. Can't wait to unpack it all.